it's Josh coming to you with another episode of the Affiliate Marketing Show. As always, we have a very special guest today. She's the VP of Business Development at YTZ, but truly one of my best friends in the industry. Coming to us live from Switzerland, let's welcome in Kate Porter. Kate, what's up?
Hi guys. Hi Josh.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. It's a very beautiful day here in Switzerland, so it's not a bad day to be stuck inside in quarantine.
Would you consider me one of your best friends in the industry?
I would. You're one of my favorite people to hang out with whenever I get the chance to see you.
Yes, we've had some pretty crazy times together. We can just leave it at that.
Yeah, and plus, I mean, I feel like we've known each other now for like almost half a decade. That's gotta be friendship, you know?
You know, I feel like 4 or 5 years at a company isn't that long, but in this space, it's almost like a 10-year kind of.
Yeah, you're a lifer at that point.
I'm a lifer, yeah. Well, congrats to you on being a lifer as well. We're in this together.
Yeah, that's true.
We'll see this through to the end.
Yeah, exactly.
I'd love to start off by finding out what you were doing before YTZ or before you were even in the affiliate marketing space at all. What was like your intro to the real world? And then, you know, we'll kind of progress to how you got to where you are today.
So actually, I've been in some form of marketing ever since I finished university, which is kind of crazy to think now.
Where'd you go to university?
I went to the University of Toronto, and I did a specialist degree in history, which is totally unrelated to the industry. But yeah, when I finished my undergrad, I was considering going to grad school, but I thought it would be a good opportunity to actually get a real job and kind of see how it was in, real world industry to kind of get an idea if grad school was the right choice. And I started working for a database marketing company right after I finished my undergrad. And I was 21, and I started as an account executive doing direct mail. So I did snail mail, which feels now
ancient.
Like ancient, yeah. Goes to show you how long ago that was. But yes, I worked with that company for actually 5.5 years. So I stuck with it. And I moved from doing direct mail to actually email marketing. So the company started to do email campaigns. So I started managing their email campaigns for them. And yeah, that was how I got started.
And then what was the transition from that to YTZ? Did you come into YTZ right as the VP of Biz Dev, or was there kind of a little bit of a progression there?
A little bit of a progression. So I moved from my first job doing the database marketing to working for an RTB. And when I was working for the RTB, actually one of my friends was running campaigns for YTZ on the RTB. So I knew of YTZ and I was actually working with them. And when their publisher manager was leaving, they actually contacted me about applying for the job. And I went in for the interview, and the rest is kind of history. So I started out as publisher manager, director of accounts, and then now I'm VP of business development. It's been over 6 years now, which is crazy. It feels simultaneously like no time at all, and also like I've always been there.
Yeah, and I'm assuming you have a good time there. I've hung out with everyone at the company, and everyone's super fun and easy to get along with.
Yeah.
So that's really cool. Let's pretend I know nothing about YTZ. I'm sure some of our viewers have or have not seen you guys at shows or on the internet, but what would be like your little elevator pitch about what you guys do and what you want the affiliate space to know about YTZ?
Yeah, of course. So we're a performance-based network, and our specialty is monetizing international untargeted traffic. We do this with our smart link campaigns that can monetize users from any geo, browser, device, OS, etc. And there's lots of different ways that you can use these smart links. You can use them to monetize back button traffic, redirect traffic, essentially any unwanted traffic, we can monetize that for you and bring in incremental revenue. And then we also offer individual offers like a more traditional affiliate network. And we offer out our own custom in-house built landing pages with those offers, which is actually like a huge time saver for affiliates, especially if you're kind of a newer affiliate. You can test our offers with the landing pages so you don't actually have to create your own.
Damn, it sounds like you've said that at a trade show once or twice.
Maybe a few times.
So when I say YTZ or someone hears the name YTZ, you know, 1 or 2 words, what's the first thing you want them to think?
Monetization would definitely be one of the first things I want people to think.
Awesome.
Yeah, and then I would also say account management too. I would say the company is known. I mean, like you were saying, everyone who's been working at YTZ has been there a very long time. We're passionate about what we do. We care about our clients. We're really into building relationships with the clients that we work with. So account management would be a big part of it as well.
Cool. I see you're working from home, as am I, as probably everybody is right now. Where do you see the industry heading over the next few years, given, the current circumstances? Do you think we'll be seeing each other and hanging out at trade shows anytime in the near future? Or do you think everything might be moving to more of a, remote virtual space?
This is definitely a really interesting time, and I think it's going to encourage a lot of companies to allow employees to work remote. And then also from a conference standpoint, I'm really interested to see what happens over the next 12 to 24 months, because I can't imagine that I'm going to be seeing you in the next 6 months at the earliest.
Which makes you super sad.
It does make me super sad. Seeing you is always a highlight. I have to see you twice a year, Josh, at least.
I know. We'll have to do like a virtual happy hour on Zoom with the company or something.
Yeah, that's a good idea. And we can have some kind of Spanish setting in the background or something.
Yeah, exactly. So let's say I'm a new affiliate who's just getting started in the space. What would be some advice you would give them, things they should be focusing on, maybe some things they should not be focusing on? But, coming from a company like yourself, you've been in the industry for many, many years. I think, your advice to them would be something they would really value.
So I would say there are so many great online resources that they can use. There's forums, there's lots of videos, and as well as when you can attend conferences again, whenever that is, there's lots of great talks and stuff like that at conferences as well for beginners that I think are super, super helpful. So I would definitely encourage someone who's new to the industry to check all that stuff out. And then in terms of just applying to work with affiliate networks, I would say my best advice is to be as transparent as possible, but also communicate a lot. I love when new affiliates are pretty open about the fact that they're new, but they have lots of questions. They're open to talking about what it is that they're looking to do, what they're using as traffic sources, where they're running, what offers they're interested in. I'd say the more transparent you can be, the more it opens up the conversation for me to be able to give you appropriate feedback in terms of what I recommend and what insights I have.
Mm-hmm. So that kind of answers my next question as well. In terms of important qualities when you're reviewing affiliate applications, would you say the most important thing is transparency and making sure it's a real person who actually knows what they're talking about?
Yes, exactly. I would say be as transparent as possible. If you do have experience in the industry, talk about that experience, what networks you've worked with, what traffic sources you're used to working with. And be responsive, be communicative. It's much easier for me to get an idea of, what you're looking to do and how I can work with you if you're pretty upfront from the get-go.
That's awesome. So let's shift gears here. Let's ask a couple more personal questions just to get to know Kate Porter, the VP of Business Development. How do you define the concept of success? Is it a monetary thing? Is it health? Is it happiness? Is it all the above? What's your definition of success?
I would say happiness for me. Do something that makes you happy. I think you can get so tied up in, what it is that you're doing, but if it's something that makes you happy, to me, that's the most important thing.
And has there been any kind of failure in your life that later you looked back on and you're like, I grew so much from that, and maybe it wasn't a failure and you kind of turned it into a learning experience, either a specific example or maybe just your thoughts on that whole mindset?
I don't know that I have a great specific example, but I would say that.
Is that because you've been just killing it your whole life and you've never had a failure?
Maybe it's just because of how I look at failure, which is that I think failure shapes how you make decisions moving forward. So it's always a learning opportunity. So even when you fail, I think there's so much that can be learned and that you can teach you about the future, so you're just smarter moving forward.
So basically, you've never had a failure in your life, is what you're saying.
Of course, I've had small failures,
All
like
right.
they've happened.
See, guys, one day you can be perfect like Kate. So let's say you have a gigantic billboard in Switzerland, um,
Ooh.
or in Toronto, whatever you want. Doesn't really matter, but you get to put anything you want up there. What are you putting on the billboard?
Oh, I was thinking about this. I think, you could go with like a cheesy quote about life. I'm okay with that, especially right now. I think
You know you're going to have to give us the cheesy quote, right? Unless you don't
uh,
have one.
no, I personally I like Eleanor Roosevelt's quote. If life were predictable, it would cease to be life and be without flavor.
Wow, that is very deep. I'm going to have to rewatch this and think about that.
Quite cheesy, but really, like right now, it's funny. You like kind of get to appreciate the things that matter when you're kind of stuck inside, thinking about all the things that you miss and the small
Oh,
things that
yeah. As
make life
crazy as
easier.
this time has been, I think us as a civilization like needed it more than ever because we're going to come out and we're going to be like, oh, I can go to a restaurant. That is amazing, and we're
Yeah.
just going to like really, appreciate the things that we took advantage of and took for granted.
Oh, 100%. I think it's going to make you appreciate the small things in life so much more. Maybe that's the silver lining to this whole experience is that we'll all emerge, a little bit more appreciative of our friends and our
Hmm.
relationships and the things we can do.
That's great. So, what's something that you love to do when you're not uh, working? Just some like hobbies or things that you really enjoy doing with your free time.
Well, I'll tell you my hobbies right now because they're a little different than they used to be when I was
Hmm.
allowed out of the house more. I'm a huge runner, which I know is kind of random, but it's one of my favorite hobbies and has been for a while now. Just because I find it's the best way to blow off steam or just think things through. It's really good. Like, it's a kind of meditation for your brain when you're running.
Hmm.
It's kind of nice.
So you running through Switzerland?
Yeah, trying to run through the whole country. It's not a big country, so
Oh,
hopefully
nice.
I can lap it at some point.
So what were some of your hobbies like when you weren't limited with to do stuff?
I really like hiking. Actually, being in Switzerland, I feel super lucky because it's really, really beautiful here. So before, when I was allowed to leave the house a little more often, I used to really like hiking here.
Very cool. Um, so let's say I'm a college student or a university student, and I'm getting ready to enter the real world. What would be some advice you would give them right now? Maybe you look back on your time right when you came out, things you focused on that later you were like, I don't know why I put such an importance on that. And then maybe the flip side, things you didn't really focus on that later you were like, I should have been really focusing on that instead.
I would say, don't limit yourself from the get-go. I think sometimes when you're coming out of university, you're so focused on what you think you should be doing that you don't think about all the opportunities you could be doing. The other thing I would say is that from my experience, there are no bad experiences. I've had so many different jobs, especially when I was younger, and all of them taught me something that I've kept with me today. So I would say, don't limit yourself. Be open to experiences. They're going to shape who you are, and they're going to shape your future.
What's one of the best investments you ever made? Could be a physical product or a change in the way you think, but something that our viewers might be able to apply to their own life/work life to become more productive.
Um, I would say, in my opinion, investing in relationships is definitely something that I've really learned to appreciate the value of as time has gone on. And I mean that in all relationships. So, both from a personal standpoint, family, friends, but also from a work standpoint. I love building relationships with people I work with. Um, Josh, I would choose to hang out with you. Even if it wasn't work related, I would love to hang out with you. Yeah, I think there's so much you can get out of all types of relationships. It's worth your time to invest in learning about somebody and building your relationship.
Yeah, I think you nailed it on the head. I think relationships are everything, especially in the work world, especially in our industry, especially now. If you can't trust somebody or hang out with them, I think it's hard to do business with them because trust
Yeah.
is like the ultimate thing that you need to have in order, in my opinion, to have like a successful working relationship is being able to trust the person.
Yeah, 100%. And like and I know, not everyone stays in their jobs as long as we do, but people do tend to stay in the industry. And as they change jobs and they move, those relationships that you've built can move to new opportunities at new companies with people. So that's also super important.
Any like recommendations you hear other people giving in the industry that you might not agree with? And I ask this because maybe some affiliates or, internet marketers that are just getting started are possibly hearing that recommendation and you would say like, I don't actually think you should be focusing on that. Or maybe some things you see people doing that you are trying to stay away from.
Um, Again, I would say this kind of comes to the transparency thing. I've seen videos of people like talking about how affiliates can sign up to networks and like what they need to say and what they need to do in order to get approved. And I just think it's kind of a waste of time in a way because these affiliates, they might get approved by networks, but then ultimately the network or the AM will realize that what they've said to get approved isn't true or isn't real. And then that will kind of taint the relationship with that
Mhm.
affiliate moving forward with that network. And you don't have the trust of the AM, and it just kind of impacts the entire relationship start to finish.
Any tricks that you do personally when you're working and your mind wanders or you lose focus? Anything you do that gets you back in the zone and back, locked into the task at hand?
I actually really like listening to music when I work remote, just because I actually will play it from my laptop because I miss the background noise of an office.
Hmm.
So just having some like background noise I find is helpful.
So you go to YouTube and you type in like office background noise and it's just like keyboard clicks and like phones ringing.
Banal office sounds, yeah, it's
Right.
perfect. It gets me right back into the zone. I'm like, okay, now I can get back in that Excel spreadsheet and really focus.
When you listen to music, do you listen to like music with words or is it instrumental? Because I find that if there's words, it's harder for me to focus. But if it's like instrumental, lo-fi is what I like. Just kind of
Lo-fi.
like instrumental coffee shop, hip hop, jazz stuff. What kind of stuff are you listening to?
I actually listen to a lot of classical, but same idea.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
no, yeah.
I
But yeah,
just I just started trying to learn Moonlight Sonata on the piano,
ooh.
and I can't get past like the first 5 seconds.
I was gonna be like, you have to play it. I need to hear
Yeah,
it.
yeah. All right, I'll go play. Uh,
Yeah.
any big regrets in your life that you look back on and you think, I wish I would have did that differently?
I would say maybe my only regret is, and this kind of tied into my advice for people coming out of school, is how much pressure I put on myself when I came out of university to kind of immediately know what I wanted to do, and immediately be focused on how to get there. I'm lucky though because I didn't really know what I wanted to do, and I kind of fell into marketing, and it's been 14 years, and I'm really glad I'm here. I love my job, and I love being in the industry. So yeah, I would say don't put so much pressure on yourself. You're going to fall into something, and every experience is going to be part of what gets you there.
Cool. And then on the flip side, what's maybe one of your favorite achievements that you've accomplished thus far in your life?
Oh gosh.
Oh gosh.
Oh gosh. I probably sounded really Canadian there.
Yeah, or like Minnesota. Yeah,
Or
either.
Minnesota. The Canadian accent does kind of blend itself to being somewhat Minnesotan,
Oh
Wisconsin.
gosh. Yeah, no, that
Oh
was
gosh.
great. We're
Oh
keeping that in the
gosh.
interview for sure. But yeah, what's like something you're really proud of? It could be work related, it could be personal, it could be one of each.
I would say I'm pretty proud of the fact that I was able to kind of relocate. For people who don't know, I've been based in Switzerland part of the time for the last 2 years. And then before that, I was based in England for a year and a half. And then before that, I was in Canada. So I'm really proud of the fact that I was able to relocate, live in a different country, and get that experience while also staying with my company and still balancing that relationship. YTZ has been amazing about having me work remote when I'm here, and I still really, really love working for the company. So it's been a great experience, and I feel very lucky and proud that I've been able to do it.
Kate, you've been a fantastic guest on the Affiliate Marketing Show. Before we let you go, we're going to play a little game that I like to call the OfferVault Hot Seat. Now, This is not related to affiliate marketing. These are 5 would you rather questions that we're going to ask you just to get to know Kate Porter, the person, a little better. And they're going to get a little more personal and a little harder as they go. You can pass, but we'd love it if you could answer as well. And I'll be answering them with you, so we're in this together.
Oh, fun. Okay.
Any questions before we get started?
No, let's do this. I'm excited.
All right, cool. This is the most excited you've been the whole interview. All right. Number 1, would you rather lose the ability to read or the ability to speak?
Wow. I think I'd
Look
rather
at her looking off into the distance.
Yeah, I know. To really think of that, I think I'd rather lose the ability to speak.
Well, first of all, why don't you explain your answer just in a sentence or two?
I think that I could still communicate clearly without being able to speak. I just think I love reading so much. I can't imagine not being able to read things. Like, think about how much of your life is spent, even just the news. I read a lot of books, and I can't imagine not being able to read.
Yeah, I think reading is knowledge. Without knowledge, what's the point of speaking?
Yeah, wow. So also very deep, Josh.
Yeah, I did not know I had that in me. All right.
Yeah, you're like, wow, I just blacked out.
Exactly what? Question 2, would you rather be in jail for a year or lose a year off your life?
I think I'd rather lose a year off my life. I guess I have a question though, like,
sure.
Is it just a year at the end of your life?
Yes.
Yeah, I think I might just choose to lose a year off my life.
I think I would go to jail for a year because A, I'd run that shit. But because B, I think it would be a learning experience. And
That's
that you
true.
would come out a much more educated person. But you already answered. It's locked in. Sorry, no changing. Okay, question.
No, that's okay.
Question 3. Would you rather know the history of every object you touch or have the ability to speak to animals?
Oh, ability to speak to animals. Like, you didn't even have to tell me. You could have said that part first. I just would have been like, I don't care what the other one is.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why I had that third. That was super easy. I would have to agree with that as well. Would you rather go back to age 5 with everything you know now, or know now everything your future self will learn? Let me repeat the question.
Yes, wow, okay.
Would you rather go back to age 5 with everything you know now? So you take the knowledge you have today and go back to age 5 and then relive that life. Or would you rather know today everything your future self will learn?
Today, everything. So I would say that's a tough question.
You think?
I'll
answer. Go ahead.
I want to say no today. Everything my future self will learn, only because I feel like going back to being 5, it just would taint everything. You'd lose that naiveness that's so perfect when you're a kid, you know?
I would agree. I'd want to know everything about my future self today, only because of how much uncertainty there is ahead of us right now. I think it would help. It would help either. It would make me feel like my panic is justified or unjustified.
I love you, like, just justify my panic now.
Yeah, I need to know if my panic is worthwhile. All right, here's the last question of the OfferVault hot seat. Question number 5. Would you rather travel the world for a year on a shoestring budget or stay in only one country for a year but live in luxury?
Oh, travel the world on a shoestring budget. That one's
See,
easy.
I would rather stay in one country and live like a king. This is a common problem me and my wife have when we travel. She wants to go like everywhere in a week that we can, and I'm like, let's just go to one or two places and really get to know that place. But you're saying you want to go to as many places as possible on a shoestring budget as opposed to one place in luxury. That's correct?
That's correct.
All right. Kate, you did great. You are a fantastic guest. We will have you back on the show anytime you want. Just let me know. Before we go, I want to give you the microphone. This is your final opportunity to tell our viewers anything you want about YTZ or yourself or your thoughts on life. Go ahead.
I would just say, come check out YTZ. If you have any questions about network or if you're a new affiliate, I'm happy to talk to you. I can tell you all about how you can work with us and getting started, and any setup and integration. Like I said, we love having conversations with new affiliates and existing affiliates, and you'd always be surprised at the different ways that you're able to work with our smart links when you talk to us about it. So yeah, come over, come talk to us. I love any new conversations.
For Kate from YTZ and myself, Josh from OfferVault, let's make that paper, let's make that dough. This has been the Affiliate Marketing Show. See you next time, everybody.